was placed in traction and airlifted 90 miles to a trauma center in Missoula, Montana. His father, Walt Barton, who had left the ranch 2 days before, drove for 12 hours through a blizzard to see his son at the hospital.
I can remember the hurt that I felt all the way to Missoula. In fact, I cried 90% of the time. I just kept saying to myself, why? To think that a fine young boy like that, with all that potential, all of a sudden everything had come to a screeching halt.
Neurosurgeon Henry Gary told them that surgery might be the only way to realign Will's spine. But because the procedure itself was risky, Dr. Gary wanted to wait 24 hours to see if traction alone would work.
The whole family decided, and anyone that even knew us, decided to fast and pray for William. And this started at 6 o'clock in the evening, and at 6:30, the breathing therapist came in to pump William's lungs up to make them work. At that point, something popped in his neck.
You okay? You all right?
And it scared the breathing therapist to death.
Probably had enough for tonight.
The vertebrae had lined back up, and they did not have to do surgery.
But again, you can see the alignment is almost normal.
Even though the vertebrae had realigned, Will still had no feeling from the neck down. His prognosis for recovery was not good.
At that point, they diagnosed him as a quadriplegic. He would never walk again, and he would probably never feed himself again.
We had to turn him every 45 minutes to keep the circulation going and keep him from getting bed sores.
I just remember something. You're one of those tough Barton boys.
He couldn't move a finger, and it was just mortifying to see him laying there.
There was nothing Mary Barton could do to lift her son's spirits.
William really got depressed, and he would just lay there, staring at the ceiling, and I asked him what was happening, and he says, I'm just practicing being a vegetable. What's happening? He says, if you love me, you'd do something really special for me. And I says, what are you talking about, Will? What do you want me to do? He said, just put a pillow over my face and take me out of my misery.
Let me know if you feel dizzy or uncomfortable, hot, sweaty. Okay.
Will began attending daily physical therapy.
Can't breathe.
What, is he all right?
He doesn't have a heartbeat.
What's happening? The one nurse was breathing in his lungs, and he started breathing again.
Will?
Are you okay, Will?
I remember the nurses rushing around me, panicking, trying to, they were trying to get a pulse, and I started to see a bright light and the most beautiful garden you've ever seen.
It's slow, Shelley.
That was the turning point in my whole recovery, because it was my choice to be here. I would have bad days after that, but I never wished I hadn't have made that choice. I'm glad I did.
His condition slowly improved, but doctors held out little hope that he'd ever walk again.
It was about late February. He says, I feel really strange. What I want you to do is I want you to pull me up and hold me. He says, I want to stand up. Phil, what do you want me to do now?
Try to step back.
Step back?
Yeah, I think I can stand.
And all of a sudden I felt the weight of his body relaxing, and I felt him starting to take on some of the weight that he had. And before it was over with, he was standing there pretty much by himself.
Hey, man, look at that. I can stand.
By the following Christmas, Will Barton and his family had reason to celebrate.
I had to relearn to walk, but I was determined to work as hard as I could.
Here's your Will. There you go, bud.
It seemed a lot like being a baby again and having to relearn to use your muscles, and you fall down a lot and get scraped up, and you just carry on.
Walking pretty fast. Throw on the old Chevy, Rick.
They tutored him. He came back and he graduated with his high school class. There were over 5,000 people in that stadium. And Will walked down that aisle and received his diploma.
Good seeing you guys.
He's worked hard. First one toe and then one finger.
Not quite as good as mine, but it'll do.
And he is progressing, and I know that he will get well.
Hands up here, get some warm, JP.
He probably can improve with additional practice to a certain level. But it's a very rare case, one that has a little happier ending than others.
William has been such an inspiration to the family from a standpoint of strength, from a standpoint of being able to accept, from a standpoint of seeming to just bring the family unit closer together.
Before, I was very athletic, and things of the world were, that's what mattered. After my accident, I was very appreciative of what I had. Just motion, getting up from one place and moving to another place. It's a really big thing. My family helped me a lot in my recovery, and I realized it's the family that matters the most.
Cool.